Navi, I think, looking at how SK played up against their opposition of football, I look at Navi and I think that Navi might approach the game in a way that throws SK for a loop. We'll see. We will see. But I do think the SK Navi matchup is maybe not even, but very close.
Wow. As we gear things up, let's focus on Navi first. MMA, Cube, and Angel Boy have had a monthly finals in the pocket before, but didn't escape the quarterfinals. Today, coming back fresh, they're able to make the grand finals and have looked the best I've seen this team look for a very long time. I can't deny it. The Pride back in February by Reply Totem was a 3-1 scoreline, and we didn't see them in March. They did not qualify for the March monthly finals. This month, it's just a night and day difference, isn't it? Taking down Team Kesso earlier today in the semi-finals. And a huge win for them. Knocks the Lobster in the quarterfinals. This match as well. I've got to say, Angel Boy choosing the dynamite, staring straight into the eyes of the surgeon. The Primo just didn't care, did he? He just absolutely owned it. But I would say that for me, this is probably the biggest test yet, and they can just go one step further. It'll be such a huge moment for them. I think I'm correct in saying that they did not win a monthly final in EMEA yet. They've won one in their own region back in 2021, but not in EMEA. So this would be a first for them. But let's focus now on SK.
SK is quite a different picture when it comes to winning monthly finals in the EMEA. They have a ton of them under their belt, but 2023 has been a very quiet year for them. Actually quite loud, but loud as in, people were talking about how much they were losing and how much they were not qualifying for big events, including the first two monthly finals. But it seems like the losing streak is at an end, as they are now in the grand finals, looking to climb back onto their throne. And I'm impressed. I mean, I had them winning against Zeta because I assumed that, the amount of preparation that would get into it would be enough. I didn't have them winning against Foot. But now, I mean, I'm a believer too. I'm also converted, Art.
I think they've earned it. Absolutely so. And, swapping out Guille for Jet, and I think that's the perfect way to go about bringing in a fourth person into the equation. I mean, sometimes we do see, don't we, with teams where they have a fourth to the roster, it can cause more harm than good. But today, I mean, it's been looking really, really good for SK in that respect.
Yeah, absolutely. I am a big fan of this approach. I think having more options is better than having fewer options, straight up and down. And so, a lot of the secret sauce as to when those players come in and out, we will figure that out. We'll try to figure that out the more we see these squads, for sure. But at the end of the day, I will always be a fan of more options than none. So will the four-man roster reign supreme? I mean, that's the question we ask you guys. Teddy and Ark, Grand Finals is all yours. See you on the other side.
Let's get it. Cube going to pick up Janet first. The band's being Max Grom, and I think I saw a Sprout there before the body showed its face for SK. And again, that is a common pick for them, and it was a Sprout. Gene, Tick, Bell coming in as well for SK. I mean, so far, for me, Teddy, this is looking like a big SK comp, but that Sprout ban really is looming over things, because that's what, for me, gave SK that huge quarterfinals win against State's Division. It worked out tremendously well in dry season.
I mean, at this point, it's an every thrower ban, pretty much, besides like Barley, Willow, and Dynamite. You see the beat to match with sharpshooters, also be, a little bit preemptive towards some potential tanky ideas. After all, this SK was last pick, and it's when you do want to bring in that sort of X-Factor sort of brawlers. I like what I'm seeing so far on both sides. Barely standard at this point. This last pick from Navi could already smell trouble as they lock into Gray, which, I'm gonna be honest with you today, I was not expecting to see this much Gray in the monthly finals. We saw a lot of it, and I didn't like much of it.
I'm with you, too. I mean, Gray was the very reason on dry season that we saw Zeta's Division fail, in my opinion. But a lot of that was in hand due to the Sprout. and that is banned. So maybe we'll see a bit more of a moment to be had here for Grey, as Penny locked in for SK. And I mean, that is an SK comp if I ever saw one. Penny, Bonnie, and Bell coming in. It probably would have been the Sprout if that hadn't been banned, let's be honest. But I don't know that this is necessarily what I would say is a Navi comp on the other side of things. And that could be very well a good thing for them, because I have been really impressed to see how they've approached the drafts today, taking away some of their more predictable qualities and replacing them with others. I think it's a really refreshing thing to see, and possibly a lot of the reason to the merit as to why they've made the grand finals here today as well. So let's see whether they could do what Zeta's division couldn't with the Grey as we go into our first matchup of today's grand finals.
Fight for the blue star has begun. Seems like Cube was tempted, but Yoshi gets punished early on. Beautiful TP from Angel Boy, and off the bat, it's gonna be 5 stars, make it 7 for Navi. What an explosive way to kick off the grand finals. SK Gaming already trailing, and are gonna have to try to be creative here. 1 kill onto Cube will help close the gap, and it's now 4 stars still in favor of Navi.
Did I Chaos forget that Janet does piercing damage there? Because he seemed to be using the Salty Barrel as a protective measure, but MMA just shot straight through it and took him down. Regardless, though, bit of a chance to get a bit more of a healthy lead here. Jetson tapping up Angel Boy, goes for the jump, and it is definitely misplaced here. And a big portal from Angel Boy will secure his protective measure. 10 stars to the 5. Navi closing in. There's already a big scoreline for what is just a minute left remaining. Begs the question, could Navi do the unthinkable and end things early at the 20-star count? SK don't think that is the case. They've got the penalty turret down and they're going on the aggressive. There's a lot of stars, let's be honest, from the head of Angel Boy there and MMA, so definitely plenty of time for a catch-up.
Pool not going to connect this time from Angel Boy. That was his last one as well, but he got some good value from them earlier. Let's see. SK can close the gap a little bit before a final push. 1 more kill here would definitely help. But instead, it may come down to a team wipe. At the end, MMA is going to be flying up, but he's low HP. That also means that he can't reset his heals in the meantime. Cube also low. Kill from Yoshi at last on MMA. 10-10, but blue star still favoring Navi. They still need a kill onto anyone. Jump in at last. Is it enough? No, not quite. Cube 63 HP to survive off this engagement. But that's just about enough for Navi to lock in game number 1.
A very strong start for Navi. And especially because SK have just come off the back of the game. They've been warmed up now. But for that same reason, maybe the break was definitely advantageous for Navi. Regardless, though, some lessons to be learned. SK went a bit too overly aggressive early on in the last game. I want to see them be a bit more slower paced in their approach. Oh, but that's not a great start at all. 1 falls, the second falls. Then you got Chaos left. 5 stars as quickly as that into the pocket of Navi. And again, Cube displaying that pin as we saw previously today. Navi do seem to be in high spirits, it's got to be said.
Yoshi needs to be careful. Pull is there, and that's going to be a freebie for Navi. Well done by Angel Boy. Jedden also just in so much trouble, is going to jump away, but Cube is ready. Greets him on landing with a supercharged shot, and 11 stars to 0, and even more convincing start from Navi in game 2. Another TP from Angel Boy, and just getting all those finishes unpunished. The Salty Barrel will get pulled instead of IKOs, but MMA still finds the kill. With 5 stars left and about a minute left on the clock, this may very much be a game going all the way to 20.
The first time today might even be the first time ever in the BSC if it happens. 45 seconds is a great deal amount of time. It is going to happen, I feel. A great TP in there from Angel Boy, but taken care of. It's got to be said. Like Chaos on the right, trying to find the angle. Just trying to heal up as well. Jetson maybe a bit overzealous here as Cube has got the amplified shot. Angel Boy going in aggressive, but there it is! The first time ever! The bounty has ended early as Navi assert their authority over the situation and leave SK in the dust.
Traditionally, Bounty has always been one of the slowest game modes where the games last for the longest, even more before when, you know, there was no blue star. We would get tons of draws, but Navi, they have none of that today, making it One of the, well, actually, this could very much be the fastest VSC bounty set of all time. Very much possible. I mean, it's probably going to get overtaken very quickly, you know, but it begins here. It begins here. Navi was an absolutely dominant performance. Game 1 was good. Game 2 was flawless.
I think it has to be. Unless we saw it happen in APAC earlier today, officially that is the fastest game because it ended earlier than any other game in bounty history. Let's be honest. But I think it does speak volumes. You know, Navi just came in completely undeterred by everything that SK have shown today. You know, again, this is the team that knocked out Saints Division in the first possible stage. The team that won every monthly final. And then for just now, in spectacular fashion, they don't look fazed by it at all. Navi are not a team that, like, ever seemed troubled by the situation upon them. They just focused down, hunkered down, and let the stats speak for themselves. 6 for Cube, 5 for Angel Boy, 3 for MMA, and even with MMA having the lowest, the takedowns on the side of Navi still equal to that as the most on the side of SK. Great DPS to add to things, 250, the most there for Angel Boy. What a storming start for Navi, and I hope I haven't made my predictions on SK too strong too soon. But what a huge moment for Navi. Again, a team that have never won a monthly final in the EMEA. That is the way you want to start it if you think you're onto the cusp of victory.
I just want to commend Angel Boy once again. The stats had him ton damage out of everyone, and there's a lot of kills as well. And we were doubting that Gray pick, but I mean, it certainly delivered, and that's the beauty as well of not just drafting well, but drafting well, you know, with your teammates' skills and what they are comfortable playing. And Gray is definitely a bit more of a niche brawler at the moment, and one that they were able to make shine more than any other team in the EMEA today.
It's great to see what the thought process was behind Gray in the quarterfinals, wasn't it? Because the Sprout was what really caused the problem. But having that out of the mix, being banned, shows me that Navi are really well prepared today when it comes to their drafts. They've been working on it a lot. And just to mention as well, GA subbing back in for Jetten now, so a big change on the side of SK, as their bans are in as Max, B, and Primo. I love the Primo ban here. Surely picking up something in the scrimmages of Navi then to go so heavily on that particular brawler. On the side of Navi, it was Stu, Janet, and Max also, as that Bonnie first pick from SK. Recurring from last year, they really do value Bonnie in pretty much every map and mode, it seems. But the Meg's available, and that to me is a concern, likely one that Navi are going to not hesitate to snap up either in this pick or the second. We haven't really seen any combinations of Meg and healers yet today. I thought that Navi would be the squad to do so if they went for it. Let's see whether they do. If it's Ash and Meg, I'm kind of a bit worried, but there's still plenty of counters to be had for SK if that were the case. Maybe they're not going to go Meg, and that would be a first. Let's be honest today. If Meg's not banned, it's pretty much picked either first or within the switch over. But I do feel like it wouldn't be the worst of ideas to have the counter of a Spike or something to pair with the Ash or the Lou and kind of really double down on their chances to have the Ash prevail, as, like I said, plenty of options for SK to be able to counter that particular brawler. Oh dear, it is what I expected, and yeah, SK have got to now pull out all the stops for these counters. That is a very, very gnarly looking comp, Teddy.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be SK right now. I really wouldn't. I mean, Navi's drafts today have been absolutely on point, to be honest. There's been creativity, excellently executed too.
Yeah.
And then, you know, stuff like this, which is not particularly creative, but it's just a smart thing to do. I mean, it's meta picks that are dominant and that force your opponent's hand. Barley is an interesting response here. I mean, Surge makes sense, right? Barley, I'm not sure. This is not a map where I like him particularly much in the first place, but I'm trying to find a good reason. I mean, it can do okay on lane. I'm just scared he's gonna get W-keyed by the Ash.
I think this could be a Lou gut feeling, but if it's GA on the Barley, that makes a lot of sense to me, because ultimately he has always been a solid pair of hands with the Barley. Could very well be the reason why SK have actually subbed him out and brought him in for Jetten. Willow coming in. Now, this is an interesting one. Every time I've seen Willow played, I've not seen it win until today in APAC, where it did get a win, and it was in Brawl. It may have even been field goal, which was the map. I think that at the moment, she really just sits way outside the meta. But in Brawl, she has a place. If you haven't necessarily seen yet, Willow has the capabilities of having a super which then takes the mind control over your opposition, which does open up a big opportunity to score the goal as your opposition. You can basically, pass the ball into your goal. You can self-score effectively if you're able to have the mind control connect with your opposition, pick up the ball and place it in their own net. That is now a thing with Willow, so I do understand it, but it is a risky one. It's definitely a risky one. It's got to pay off here for Navi.
Well, early on, it is not. Jumping onto MMA is going to be a free kill, and Yashi just walks it in as SK take an early goal, or score, rather, an early goal. 25 seconds in, Ikeos' jump is not quite going to make the landing as Angel Boy is ready. Q to pass the ball upwards. Yashi was a defensive jump. It's low HP across the board, but Gia goes down, and now Navi return the favor. There's a goal of their own. 1 minute and 45 seconds in. Whoever scores next is going to take the game.
Big return for Navi. They love that toolbox gadget for Meg, but hey, it works for them. I'm all for it. Big suppressiveness onto Yoshi there, and a bit of a helping hand from MMA. He's doing pretty well considering that Guille is such an accomplished Barley. He really is. But again, I want to see more use of that super really to warrant the pick for the Willow. Kind of prefer any other thrower at this point in time, even Dynamite, Grom, they're all up there. Willow's definitely the bottom of the pack. Nonetheless, SK on the ropes here. And Cube knows it, big swipe. Chaos low gets him taken down. Yoshi unable to contest it. And Guille as well low, putting MMA into a great spot. The super pass is there, and as is the goal. Navi respond with back-to-back goals, leaving SK in the dust yet again. Smiles occurring on the face there of MMA and Cube, but again, just playing it slow, steady, staying focused. So important in these scenarios, but that was a convincing turnaround, it's got to be said.
Yeah, by the looks of it, I do agree. I mean, Willow is not looking particularly strong, but nevertheless, Navi, if they win 2 lanes, they're fine. The Barley just doesn't really have the stopping power when the Meg is inside her mech, and the Ash is pushing forwards, but there's a team wipe early on here. SK again able to score early on, about the same time it took in game 1. The problem was the aftermath afterwards, where Navi were just able to get 2 goals in a row and take away that game.
Huge last call for Guille. Pass through is there. Chaos jumps in, gets the knockback as well. MMA just able to buy a bit of time, but is it going to be enough time? A bit of a fumble from Mike Chaos. Couldn't quite get the ball to the pass from Guille is enough. Just in the nick of time. SK will take the game over incredibly quickly, wasn't it? Let's be honest. But nonetheless, back in the fight. We wouldn't have it any other way, let's be honest. Just goes to show this comp does have legs. I do worry a little bit on that right-hand side for Navi. With that Willow, Guille just really made that last game count. If SK can bring back a set, it'll be massive for them. Definitely going in to increase their confidence going into this next set to come. But that is a bit of ahead of ourselves. Let's see how this one goes first.
Jump from Yashi, gets a kill, but Ikeos is alone in defense now. Cube gets the swipe, gets the kill. Ikeos looking for the trade. It's gonna be low HP instead, and Cube will disengage. Ikeos still on stage 1. Looking to get that second stage, so he has that extra movement speed that will help him navigate through the map much more smoothly. MMA taking tons of damage, and Guille just playing outside the range nicely. Yashi with a snipe to the left. Ikeos doesn't have jump, but he does unlock it now. Will go down. 2-on-2 where SK know they can't score, so they'll approach things more defensively.
He's doing work. His DPS has got to be pretty high, but now 3 versus 1, and Chaos jumps in, gets the knockback, gets the ball as well, buying so much time for his team to respawn back in. And Q without the mech, could be lower HP than normal. Oh, well, they get it. Yoshi with a great defense. Oh my word, the mind control, and that is what we were waiting to see from MMA. The Willow pick comes out strong finally for them.
waiting to see the impact of that Willow pick, and at last we do, but there's a chance here still for SK. Keep pushing forwards, will go down to the poison, and actually this opportunity shouldn't be allowed to be turned into a goal. Echoes will go down. By the looks of it, we have a little bit of a reset with ever so slightly more mid-control here for Na'Vi. SK Gaming, they need a goal, otherwise they're going to be down 2 sets.
They're going to recover from that goal as well. I mean, it's definitely, it does pack a sting. I can assure you, when you're effectively scoring against your own team, is not just the mind control in the mechanics, but it also is one for yourselves with only 15 seconds remaining now. But the ball currently stands. I just don't see a way for SK to be able to get to it in any shape or form. Yoshi going to make an attempt, but not going to happen. Navi really did well there, didn't they? Let's be honest. And they claw it back. Beautiful stuff from them.
What a strong showing from Navi today. A set away from taking their first ever monthly final victory. And when I say victory, I mean not just a game, not just a match, taking the whole thing. They've won some before in ECA way back in 2021. But that's 2 years ago, and ever since then, they have not been monthly finals champions ever.
Last year, when it came down to things in the final month, it was their best performance. I think to date, I think they made the grand finals of that month. And it just wasn't to be, was it? This time round, as history would put it, I mean, notoriously Navi tend to have a slow start to the year when it comes to their monthly finals. I mean, they don't tend to make the grand finals this early on, and it does feel like it could be in the air. Just the way they've come so prepared for this, it really does speak volumes. This was that moment, I believe, coming out shortly with MMA as well, with the Willow pick. Many people probably didn't even see it coming at all. It was very swift. There it is. Just that angle there to be able to secure it, and blink and you miss it moment. Angel Boy with 10 takedowns as well. But again, I've got to draw attention. Guy, with a hefty amount of DPS. Yoshi actually had the most on the side of SK, but nonetheless, what we've seen today more and more, time and time again, is Navi playing out the objective. Despite the statistics in front of us, it was them that really focused on that. Just getting those goals scored and just eradicating all the DPS on the side of SK, which, let's be honest, is more than the highest scoring person on the side of Navi, being Cube. A great round for SK for all intents and purposes, but not when it came to the scoreline.
Yeah, I could not agree more. I mean, it's crazy. The highest DPS on Navi is lower than the lowest DPS from SK, and that's not even counting the fact that the Willow had below 100 DPS, which is incredibly low. So, a tough set for SK to lose, because they were winning their lanes all right, or at least getting damage. But Navi was able to most often heal it up, brush it off, and go in, and their pushes were rewarded with a goal usually, which was quite the big difference here. But Kaboom Canyon and Heist is going to be different. Getting some pokes and kills here and there is going to be very useful in keeping control of the mid, and really it's only from the mid that you'll be able to get damage on save.
Such a great map, isn't it? So many options here. Depends on what the bands are, of course, but I'm looking for Crows, Pennies. Lola's a great hero as well. Penny Band, Amber Band, B, Max, Crow, and Eve. All of which I like, I'll be honest. And Colette could be the first to show its face for SK. It's a very strong starting brawler. Able to stay within the mid whilst getting damage. Goes a long, long way. Coming in shortly, though, will be the response, and that'll be for Navi. Just to mention as well that Jeton is coming back in for Guille, so he will be present for this one. Hopefully for SK's sake, it's not the last. First brawler coming in for Navi. Sometimes some safer ideas, but I think the Crow is going to be a must here for me. Bonnie taking it away almost from the hands of SK, because surely they would have followed up with that. They valued the Colette a bit more, but it's definitely a solid one to have, and a big, big pick for EMEA. Very, very common in both the pick rates and the win rates. Will it be a Crow? Will it be something like a Meg, because it is available? I don't think Meg has a place here, but then again, I'm constantly surprised today. Pretty much more often than not, when Meg is not banned, is picked. But so far, not going to happen. The only game where that was the case was Knockout. Pretty much every other instance, if it's not banned, has been picked. Otis but Navi is a bit of a tankier defensive measure. And now, the ball back over to SK.
Yeah, I maybe still like a Brawl for the wall break and the damage on save. But it's not the easiest one to play out. I mean, you get jumped on by the Bonnie, you're pretty much done. And if you're up close against anyone, you'll be losing those matchups too. Carl is an option. We saw it earlier today on Kaboom Canyon as well, and they will go for the Brock.
Nice.
I kind of like the come from SK Gaming, but I don't know if I like it because it's just comfy and familiar picks to this map, or because it's actually meta, if that makes any sense.
I like it. I do like it. I kind of wonder whether Navi might try something a bit daring, like an 8-bit across the river or something. But yeah, yeah, daring is definitely where their minds were at. But I'll be honest, I think this is actually one of the weakest maps for Buzz. If I'm honest, I think the safe zone makes a lot of sense to me. Hot potato even makes a lot of sense to me. But here it's definitely going to be more vulnerable. And with so much range at the disposal of SK, Carl with the flying hook to go over the lake and really cause a lot of damage, as you mentioned already. The Brock with the Incinerary, the Colette for control in the mid. I'm much favouring more towards SK Gaming here in terms of their draft, but this is where, for me, Navi are a little bit of an outsider because they've had some crazier, wackier ideas today, but more often than not, they have come out on top with them. So it's a tough one to call so soon, so early on, but it's Angel Boy on the buzz, and that is always, always, always a bad day for someone.
Yeah, I could not agree more. He is an absolute danger. He's probably just going to go down here, but he's allowed to heal up a little bit and actually gets a kill onto Ikenos. Should be able to connect the rest of his ammunition onto the save. That gives a nice early lead for Navi, but one that Jedin quickly wants to equalize and does so successfully. And missable from Angel Boy, that's a lot of value. It takes a while to reload that Buzz super, and in the meantime, he's pretty much just a sitting duck feeding supers. He does have his super back now. He's gonna use it onto Yashi. Q is sneaking up onto that left side. And SK, they're committing 3 players to defend him off, but then they leave and let him be.
Still quite close in terms of the scoreline, just a 4% in it. It's Navi. Do you want to fend off this push coming in as Chaos joins the mix now? The mute available to MMA could be very important here. But the HP too low to really contest the situation. Angel Boy's just waiting for a chance to go, and that was not it. Not even close, really. So we'll have to earn it back and stay in position. But SK already just kind of going a bit away from the radius. He would like to be able to earn it faster, and they're not giving it for free. Justin goes in with a flying hook as well. Protected pirouette. Just going to keep his survivability in check. We'll get just a little bit of damage. But in the meanwhile, on the other side of things, Navi have caused some damage. They got the lead.
Yeah, now Yashi in the mid is not in the best position. Needs to fall back and will do so successfully. Beautiful kill from Ikenos with the help of Jedin. Onto that Buzz, the Colette super, it's gonna cause a pull as well, and Angel Boy is now suddenly in the middle of the action. Invincible as well for a second whilst he was fighting already in mid. And now only 3% are separating Navi from a match point. They still need, well actually, they have the lead, but they'll extend the lead furthermore, and Yashi knows that even if he were to push forward and get some more hits on safe, that would not be even close to enough. Fairly close for the most part, definitely still winnable for SK. But I mean, Navi, they're on match point right now, and all eyes are on SK to do something, to find some sort of reaction. They pulled off a reverse sweep already earlier today. Now they gotta do it all over again.
The might of the world up against SK now. We've seen reverse sweeps today. That's safe to say, isn't it? We've seen 2, almost 3. But would it be a third today, a solid third? That's the question. Now or never for SK. But for Navi, this is a huge moment for them, and they can feel it, they can sense it. They're this close now. They were breaking character just a little bit between the rounds. We saw the smiles coming back that we saw early in the quarterfinals. I think it's obvious as to why. Big jump in there from Cube does get a great deal of value considering the Jetson had the protected pirouettes in progress, and Angel Boy comes in with a big smash, but it is SK that come out on top and are able to now get themselves dug deep into the mid, and maybe a little bit of damage they can. Not going to be an opening there for Navi to allow, so they have to go back to the drawing board, but pretty decent, all things considered.
Oh, shoot. Still low. Trying to get as much value as he can whilst not healing up. An interesting interaction on the left. Had been a minute since I've seen it, but basically Angel Boy pulls the Carl and the Carl dashes away. But that doesn't get rid of the buzz that's leashed onto you. And look at that damage on safe. Body blocking as well very nicely to keep Angel Boy alive for longer, dealing more damage. 54%, that's the lead that was picked up by Navi after that push, and there's 2 supers available as well. One which is going to be missed by Angel Boy again. He's missed quite a couple, but the ones he's hit have absolutely made up for that.
Mime has got the Muse as well, but SK have not been giving them many opportunities to use them and have more often than not been evading a lot of these supers, and that was a bit of a rough one there for Angel Boy. There's Chaos, it's some damage dealt. SK is still behind. 25 seconds left on the clock. Angel with a big stun, and that is going to be a big blow for SK. Jistin comes in, but how much damage can he realistically get? Not enough is the answer. And SK are going to repush. 15 seconds on the clock, Teddy.
This is a nightmare for SK Gaming. Navi, all they need to do is defend, but if SK over-aggress, they can just jump in with the Bonnie, and they'll do that. Right now, get the final bits of damage. Overkill, maybe. But it doesn't matter to Navi, because they are your EMEA champions for the monthly finals of April. Fantastic stuff from Navi. Their first ever monthly final win in the EMEA region. It has been 2 years since they've last won a monthly final. Maybe a little bit less, but still a very, very long time for a team that was pretty much uncontested in their previous region. It is a statement for them. Welcome to the new era of Navi.
A historic moment, no doubt about it. One that Navi will not be forgetting for many years to come, it is safe to say. I mean, what a just complete and utter chaotic day when it came to the scorelines, but that, for a grand finals, was one of the more convincing we've seen all day, and I think that says a lot as to how much Navi wanted this today. And when you look back at how their year has been as well, the amount of preparation that they clearly put in today, it showed full force. I mean, it was so apparent that they were just a notch up of everyone else, and they've earned it. Absolutely so. Great for them, couldn't be happier for them, and it has been, let's be honest, a long time coming.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about. You know, it's been, what, 12, 11, I think, 10 or 11 monthly finals they've participated in the EMEA, maybe even more. And it's the first one they finally win. They've always been there, you know?
Yeah.
But never quite been there. And this time around, they will claim victory against stats-wise. I mean, it looks better on the side of SK Gaming, but getting a kill is not the same as getting a high-impact kill. And getting kills with the right timings and the right positions and with your teams being able to really capitalize. You need kills that create opportunities. And Navi today have truly excelled at that. Getting the kills that provide the most value so that you can capitalize, that you can complete the objective at hand. Angel Boy is going to be your MVP for today.
I think to sum it up, Teddy, always the bridesmaid, never the bride, really, for Navi, isn't it? But I think
like
it was worthy MVP. I know. It was one of the best moments in the world, wasn't it? Really was. But I think it sums it up perfectly, really, for Navi, because they have just always been that little bit short. But today was not that day, and they really have proven themselves and everybody else. I mean, there was no doubt about it. Navi Nation was always, backing them. But regardless, what a day. F-Top, You were watching from the sidelines. Got to bring it back around to you, man. Like, how was that to watch?
I mean, it was kind of what I expected to see, man. I think Na'Vi came out with a new fire underneath them, but the same. They're Na'Vi, man. They're playing their game. They're feeling it. And like I said, coming into this finals, I was like, I think they're going to win, and I think they're going to win emphatically. And they did. So not surprised here whatsoever. I am surprised that we're here in the finals watching Na'Vi versus SK. But after the table was set, I got to admit, Na'Vi, they're just playing something different, man. There's something in the air right now for 2023 that has Na'Vi on it. You mentioned that they haven't won a monthly final in how long? A couple of years?
So they had over a year, yeah.
Yeah. For EMEA, they've never won a monthly finals. For ECA, they were pretty much consistent, in their region, pretty much every single month, if my memory's not mistaken. But they have struggled ever since.
Yeah. So this is an awesome way to sort of bounce back. SK Gaming also, bouncing back, finding themselves in the finals. Obviously not the finals performance that they would like to put up, but they took down their opposition in Zeta Division, which is the team to look after. And they beat up their opponent in semifinals as well. And so SK Gaming, like I said, this is not their finals performance that they would have liked to have. But certainly, you leave here feeling some type of way in the positive. Absolutely. So Na'Vi, do what they needed to, Teddy. What's the biggest difference maker here for Na'Vi in your eyes?
I think they'll learn how to draft. which sounds like
is interesting.
This. But for a long time, dude, I swear to God, it felt like they did not know what they were meant to be doing in the draft. They've been improving steadily, but this time around, I thought they had the best draft throughout the day, which to me is crazy to say that about Na'Vi that, typically would have the worst drafts.
Certainly something to experiment with, but experimentation leads to some good things, and here Na'Vi find themselves very, very comfortable as your number 3 team, trailing by less than 30 points to Reply Totem's number 2. Zeta Division clearly still number 1, but don't forget, folks, Zeta Division and Reply Totem both knocked out in the quarterfinals this time around, Arc. Not only do we see Na'Vi, we see Foot up there at 134 points, and SK Gaming certainly have a couple more points still off of the top 8, but I'm going to figure out just how many points they have.
It's been a big shift up, hasn't it? And kind of what we hoped for on some level coming into this month. We wanted to see this region be blown wide open, because when you get to that kind of halfway mark of the year, you really want to see just the tables get turned, and especially as a lot of teams as well maybe disbanded along the way, or some roster movements as well, having shifted then, not just the action that we see, but also the points that are on the leaderboards and the teams that are competing. It's very refreshing, isn't it? Just when you thought that you knew all of that Zeta Division were going to have just a clear run, Navi come along, and SK come along, and all these other greats we've been waiting to see really evolve into full form. It's just fantastic. EMEA really is the gift that keeps on giving.
Worth noting, SK Gaming with 102 points in total. So shout out to them trying to join the rest of the pack. This is the way the rest of the world looks. At the moment, if we were to cut it short and go directly to Worlds, we would have Crazy Raccoon, that's Chatampo and the boys up from East Asia. EMEA would be repped by our top 3. Over in NA West, it's Dogwalkers. In NA East, it's Tribe Gaming. And then South America East has Zest on top of the crop. Still got to figure out what mainland China is doing and how well they're handling things. But at the moment, things are spicy in the EMEA region for sure. That third spot being put up for Na'Vi is, well, very interesting. That said, we also have our Lance Chance qualifiers, and these are the squads that we might get a chance to see over there. Arc. When it comes down to the LCQ race, a lot of interesting teams here that are just on the cusp of being household names. Who do you think has the best chance outside of North America to make their mark on the BSC?
Just start with the small questions, F-Dot, do you know what I mean? I've got to say, North America for me has always been a region that I've thoroughly enjoyed watching, and this year has been just nothing short of a spectacle. I think Motor Murmurs have really been doing so much in that region for me. I think Dog Walkers as well, really, really shining through. Obviously, SCMN and Tribe have dominated for so long, and now we're seeing a lot of these underdogs really showing us all their worth. But South America as well, I think they've got to keep a bit of an eye on them. Reconic Esports obviously with a big pickup this month, and don't take your eyes off EMEA. Dogs to Lobster, this could well be the year that we do see them, really just strive for greatness. Every region brings something to the table, and not to discount any, but you did ask the question, I've got to go with my fave, so you put me on the spot.
Gotcha. I respect it, man. Well, you know what? I made you do the tough stuff. Now, time for you to do the fun stuff. Play of the day coming at you. Ark, talk us through the top play of today.
I mean, there's been genuinely so many, but this was one of my personal faves. I've got to say, I've never seen this happen at all before in Knockout. But if you keep an eye on Philip on the left-hand side here, gets so much value from this early outset burn onto Blacksea, and it's a super that follows up as well, juggling his tasks between Javi there and Boss, and then the burn down there, and pop, and then Boss just hesitates to pop, but nonetheless, he pops too. A triple takedown in Knockout with Amber with the burn. Wonderful stuff, and just really, really impressive to see.
Beautiful. I mean, that's the type of precision that we want to see when it comes out of some of these oddball where we see these brawlers being chosen. Got to pick my words carefully there for sure. As everything getting shifted, but a number of good plays throughout the day, without a doubt, and a number of good players as well. We've got Navi sitting by for a good chance at a chat.
Go from the grave there as well. MMA, it's good to see you. How are you doing, my friend? It's been a while. Your smile has been very, very prominent today, and for good reason. It's a very, very historic moment for you guys. I'm going to ask the most boring of questions. How does it feel?
Yeah, feeling so great. I can say something like, sorry for my bad English, but I can say some weird words. But anyway, our team right now so happy, so I can answer on your all questions.
Dude, you've got great English. Don't worry about it, my friend. I've heard your interviews before. They were on point. I want to talk a little bit about previous months. Let's go back to last month. You didn't qualify. Tell us why and how that all happened. What was the story there?
Okay, about our past monthly qualifier, it was hard month for us because we didn't qualify. Sometimes team can thought about if you can qualify, you bad team maybe need something change, but we talking about this a lot. It was hard conversation about it for us, but anyway, we believed in our team, so we practice a lot, we worked a lot. Even for boot camp, especially for me, I need to fly so much time to get to the place and play with my team. So this month was for us very hard too, but we do this. We did this.
That segues actually very nicely into my next question as well, because for me, this month, there was a very noticeable presence. The way that you guys handled yourselves, your drafts, and the way that you played was exceptional. Talk us through, what did you guys focus on this month? How did you go from last month not qualifying to now being on top of the region?
Yeah, maybe we just start focus on our mistakes and be honest to myself, to every teammates, and like this we become maybe a very good team, and we showed our really power what we can show, and this day it showed it, so everything was useful for us. like we think about what we did mistake, where, how need to fix it. It was a very, very big work. I don't mean like practice with Scream and other. It's all about our mentality. So it's together works great right now, as we can see.
It really shows. I want to bring things around to last year, actually, because some people at home may not remember. But going back to September of last year, you faced off against SK Gaming again in the Grand Finals and came short 3-1. And again later in October, the Grand Finals with Tribe Gaming EU, and you lost 3-2. How does it feel to have come short, in those Grand Finals compared to now? What makes a team great in that sense, to be able to come back and face those big losses, but then come through and prevail to get the win? What does that take to come back and keep going at it?
It's a very interesting question, but what I can say about this, it's something like in this year, when every monthly final is so important, when you become already in the final, it's very, very good profit for you, because it's very important as I can say early, but you feel so good and already just ready to play this last game. You don't worry like it was our first round, our first set. It was hard for us a bit start and come to play better. But in this final, we were all ready to play and beat this game and take our first champion monthly. It's very important for us because it's a EMEA. It's a very strong region, so it's very cool.
We can see it. Your mindset, the focus was absolutely on the money. And a massive congratulations to you and your team. Do you want to give any shout-outs to your fans and following? We know the NAVI Nation and how much support they give. So anything you'd like to say, and then you can tell us how you intend to celebrate.
Yeah. What can I say? Thank you very much for everyone who supports us. It's hard for us. It was hard for us after our previous monthly final. So thank you very much, guys, and thank you for so cool cast to all casters. Thank you for Brawl Stars Sports and also for our organization NAVI, who supports us after even very, very bad results. And of course, thank you for our family, like for everyone, me, Cube, Angel Boy. Have very cool support by our family, from our family. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you very, very much, guys. And perfectly said. No, let's go and then celebrate. Enjoy your day. Congratulations once again and good luck next month. We'll see you guys very, very soon.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Great to see you, and Tony. I mean, I know MMA mentioned about his English. I think he mentioned some things that were very, very crucial there for me, and really encapsulated a lot of what the BSC is about. Coming back against the odds and just being able to improve